Hello and welcome to another episode of Pathways to Thriving. Today I'm interviewing Dr. Tan Maw Pin, who is the head of geriatrics at the University Hospital in Malaysia. Welcome, Maw Pin. Thank you for this time that you've taken.
Thank you for, offering me this opportunity.
Great. Maw Pin is a friend. We go to the same church.
Yes.
Yes, and we share a love of dogs, for dogs. So, yeah. I think like maybe it would be a good start if you could just share a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
You know, who you are, a bit about your family, maybe where you studied, practice.
Okay, sure. So I am a mother of two teenagers. My daughter's now 23.
Wow.
So she's a big girl now, but the son's 18. So yeah. They're not quite teenagers, but sometimes I feel like they're teenagers. Not the daughter, but the son is still a teenager. And then I'm married to another doctor. I was born to two doctors.
Wow.
And my husband's parents are also doctors, by the way.
Wow.
And my sister and my brother-in-law are also doctors. So a family of doctors. And I went to the UK to study medicine. Sounds terribly posh, but in those days, there were only 5 universities that offered medical degrees in Malaysia, and it was very competitive.
Yes.
So my parents, being doctors, felt that it would be the right thing to do to send me overseas to get my degree, because they could afford it compared to a lot of other people who would really need a place in a Malaysian medical school. So I went to the UK, and unfortunately the system wasn't conducive to return until 2011.
Wow.
Yes, so I worked there for quite some time. I was in the UK for over 20 years.
Wow.
And then I came back to join the University of Malaya. What a treat, right? It was like beyond your wildest imagination that you get to come back and come into an academic post in the University of Malaya.
Yes.
And life's been a whirlwind with the children, with the family, with the parents, but really enjoyable, totally guided by, the faith that I have.
Yes.
And then I basically am now the head of the geriatric unit and a professor at the University of Malaya.
You treated my dad at that unit, and I saw some of the amazing work that you did, so thank you. But I want to talk about this one thing that you said. You worked in the UK for 20 years, and then you came back. Mm-hmm. What was that like? What prompted leaving the UK? What prompted coming back? And
I always told everyone I was living in exile because it didn't seem like it was conducive to return.
Right.
Of course, everybody knows about the political situation in Malaysia at that time. It all started when I was in secondary school, when there was a lot of persecution, political persecution, etc. And my family was very much a little bit political. My father was a politician. And one of the big pushing factor for me to go overseas was because there was a lot of persecution because he was in the opposition. Right. And then coming back then made it very difficult, because we didn't know the right people, etc. And I think a lot of people probably felt a bit safer that I was actually in another country.
Right. Wow.
But my passion was always to return to Malaysia. Yeah. I always felt a calling for this country. And even in the UK, I was always very blatant with everyone I worked for that my passion is to come back and serve my country.
Wow.
And even I was there to learn geriatrics to actually bring it back to Malaysia. And when the opportunity finally came in 2011, that was a real treat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's. I never knew that history about you, and that's like really interesting to have been away because of actual political implications that were impacting your family.
Yes.
How would you sum up that kind of an experience?
I don't know. I wouldn't know anything else because I lived through it, right? Yeah. But I wouldn't say I had a normal childhood. Yeah, because I always had this calling to be a leader. Even though I was reluctant, all I I wanted was a quiet life, you know. I loved painting, you know, even in school, the teachers would always pick me to do public speaking because of who my father was, and would always want me to be in a play.
Yeah.
And I felt the push from my family to do it, but I'd rather be painting the props. I was quite good at art. But I suppose now I realize that, you know, it's not about wanting to be in the limelight, but really doing what's necessary to go for what your ultimate goal is, or your passion is about, what your calling is. So if being in the limelight is what's needed, you do it for that purpose, but not for the status, not for the glory, because that doesn't really take you anywhere.
Yeah, a lot of people think leadership is glorious, and it's full of this, you know, just wonderful fame and that kind of thing, but they don't necessarily recognize the pressures, the decision making that goes on behind the scenes, the things that you have to do to appease this and this group, and all of that you've got going on at different points.
Yes.
What I'm struck by, what you said, is that you didn't necessarily want the limelight, you didn't want the glory, but you felt that it was important to do what was needed.
Yes.
That is foundational. That's a foundational leadership principle.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm just wondering how you got into that sort of thinking, that mindset.
To be honest, that was my entire upbringing, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, because my parents were both doctors. They returned to Malaysia thinking they were going to do great things in medicine, and found that doctors were actually, you know, being controlled by political forces.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's really what Dad went into politics for.
Wow.
And to try and change things, make things a bit better.
Right.
But of course, he didn't know what he had really let himself into, because the whole cause isn't about just politics, isn't it?
Yeah.
Similarly, when so I am kind of continuing what he's doing, but in a way that I feel I can contribute most.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And what drives me, I don't know, because all I can see is a lot of inequality, a lot of injustice, and I do my little bit where I can.
Yeah. So, what were some of the challenges you had coming home?
Okay, to be honest, things have been a huge joy, and everything is not as bad as I expected. Because you get told all these things. One of my, because I have many mentors in Malaysia, and so many very selfless, very caring people who willingly come up and spend an hour or even 2 or 3 just talking to you over coffee.
Oh wow!
Telling you about the difficulties and how to overcome them. You know, how to keep going. Yeah. And I didn't ask for it. I don't often solicit this. So, they just come forward.
Nice.
For some strange reason. It's almost like someone sent them. Right? Yeah. So these messengers actually, already primed me about what potentially can happen. Of course, if you look at the negative side of things, there are many forces who would want me to stay in the UK, who would perhaps have said things to try and brainwash us to actually avoid coming back, because they still also need our contribution in the UK.
Oh wow!
Right? So that happens as well.
Okay.
But I won't continue that bit. But the positive thing that happens in Malaysia is that there are some really talented people in Malaysia.
Yay.
And the thing that I always felt that the thing that they lacked was a self-belief.
Yes. This is a big thing that I feel when I do training or coaching with a lot of Malaysians.
Yes.
I see that. But please.
So I'm really blowing my own trumpet, but I'm totally passionate about an institution that I've always wanted to be part of ever since I was born. I think everybody who in any way academically inclined in Malaysia would want to be part of this University of Malaya story. And getting a job there is like a dream, and I feel that I'm really at home. No one would believe that. Well, why would you have a dream in being part of the University of Malaya? But it is. And it's a huge, amazing platform full of very, very talented people. And when I came back, our Vice Chancellor at that time had a vision that Malaysia can be a top 100, University of Malaya can be a top 100 university.
So exciting.
And nobody I met had the same belief in him. And I was the only brave one when he took us to this lecture theatre to try and tell us that about his vision. I was the only one who put up my hand, who said we were going to get there. Yeah, of course we didn't get there in the time frame that he said we would, because I was there in 2011. He wanted to be there by 2015. But boy, are we there, and we've stayed there for a few years. Yes, and it's all about a journey of self-belief.
That's remarkable. I mean, I think it's sometimes a pressure that we put on ourselves to try and do something by this time, but journeys are not something that we can really decide upon in terms of,
There's always setting a goal, isn't there?
Correct.
And not just giving up because you didn't get there at the right time. But just keep going. Of course, he must have got the flack because he didn't get there at 2015. But it was only a couple of years later. It wasn't that bad.
Oh wow! So this is amazing to have been a part of that journey. What are some of the key takeaways for you in terms of that actual journey? What were some of your contributions that you're proud of?
I think probably one of the things you have to remember is it's not about getting the glory of being in the top 100. It's a journey of getting there actually led to a lot of things that changed the nation. So in order to get there, you have to basically build the human capacity.
Yes.
And I'm totally amazed at how these talented people can use, the resources, given the resources given to them, they can stretch it so far. And make it happen. So such creative and talented people who were given the slightest opportunity, they made the most of it.
You received a grant, I understand.
Yes.
And you were supposed to deliver something by August 2025?
This is a very big grant.
Okay.
For Malaysian, of course, when you talk about grants in high-income countries, totally different. But this is literally the biggest grant given by the Ministry of Higher Education, called the long-term research grant. It's 5 years. So 6.05 million for 5 years, and we have to deliver so much. That's always the KPI, set for us by the Ministry of Higher Education. And if you don't meet it, life is really difficult. So you have to make sure you promise and you deliver at least what you promise, if not more than you promise. And so for that we have brought together 5 projects led by 5 different universities, private and public, throughout Malaysia. And then there 2 other, so there were UKM, UPM, UiTM, and also Monash Malaysia.
Oh wow!
And then we also involved Swinburne Sarawak, very special, and also University Technology Petronas, UTP. And this actually was a hugely amazing journey. Again, I can't believe that the whole team worked so well. The chemistry in the team, how everybody was so willing to contribute to make it happen.
So what was the project? What were these projects about?
Okay, so we call this an ageless project.
Okay.
So that's my entire existence, being ageless, right?
So in case anybody is wondering why she doesn't look like a mother of someone who's 23, listen hard.
So what happens is that the Ministry of Higher Education has had for the longest time made aging a priority. So they recognize that Malaysia is an aging nation. At that time, Malaysia was going to soon become an aging nation, but we now are an aging nation. And we crossed that line in 2021. So being an academic institute, you have to prepare your country. So the role of higher education was to come up with materials that would increase awareness and also develop the innovations that was going to help our country meet this need. So the journey didn't start in 2019 when we got the grant. The journey started in 2013. So initially there was 2 large projects. So at that time we had a lot more money funded by the Ministry of Higher Education. part of this project was to bring up to the top 100 university. And then those projects did quite well, to be quite honest. But there were some teething problems and mistakes, but we collected a cohort of 4,500 Malaysians through 4 states in Malaysia. And then the data actually went towards, and the whole effort actually went to the development of many brains for Malaysia, so postgraduates, PhDs who eventually ended up as lecturers with knowledge on how to do research in aging and also teach on aging. But then the money stopped in 2016. The oil prices tanked because the oil prices.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes. So we kept and for some reason, we were so passionate about this project, we kept the money going. And then in 2019, this money came back a little bit. And so there was this call for an LRGS top-down project for aging. And then there was me. I felt the push to contact everyone who were involved with these 2 projects to say, can we combine those 2 projects and make a bigger project and ask this for the Ministry of Higher Education for this one. So it was a highly competitive process and many stages, but so the whole bidding process took about 9 months from the time you submitted your proposal. But in that process you involved lots of people, got to know lots of people, and the actual growing process, in preparing the grant was quite something.
It's a real gestation period, isn't it?
Yes, I know. It's 9 months, right? So then we finally got the grant in December 2019, and COVID came. I know, but with every challenge came new opportunities, right? I mean, it's the biggest catchphrase for COVID, but unfortunately, it's like that. So suddenly we were also able to incorporate bringing in, introducing our older people to technology. So we did interviews virtually, through video calls, smartphone text messages to send pictures of the medications and things like that.
Oh wow!
And then we use this opportunity to upskill older people in how to use technology, right? So and then we've developed lots of innovations now that are technology based. So the grant finished in August this year, 31st of August. And so in this process, we've seen 26 postgraduate students graduate. I've just counted. The real number is 92 full text publications in international journals. But the most important thing is we actually engage over 6,000 altogether since 2013, older people over 5 time points since and in 8 states in Malaysia. Yes.
Congratulations! That's amazing.
Yes.
I'm wearing long sleeves now, but as a Malaysian, I'm feeling very proud, all standing. Very good. What happens now since the project's over? What's happening?
The geopolitical situation is interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
So we are once again unfunded. But it's a short time. So because a couple of grants that we applied for from across the seas didn't get reviewed. But again, every challenge comes new opportunity. We knew we were not going to have any money. So not having money means we have to go look for some funds. So you start knocking on doors, right? So we said, okay, as universities or as researchers, we want to stay together. We need a center. So as we the last time we went to the Ministry of Higher Education, we submitted a policy brief. So to actually build a national centre for aging.
Oh wow!
Yes, and then they said the answer was we don't quite. The panel they were an assessment panel. They didn't know that they were never presented a brief by someone like that. So we're not sure who to present it to, but we will definitely pass it on. So we didn't know where it was going to go. So we asked a few people about what to do. But long story short, I'm sure people have heard in the budget that the University of Malaya is going to have a health metropolis. So we believe that this health metropolis is going towards funding retirement living community development next to the University of Malaya.
Oh wow! So like a retirement village
sort of concept, but of course it has to be more urban, because normally a retirement village will be in a more rural setting. But our problem is that older people want to stay in the same housing area, you know, because they've got their own family there, they've got their own network. But there are lots of very big bungalow houses with huge amounts of land along the belts in Jalan Gasing. So we hope that by actually creating a space near the hospital where they can still see the hospital, because one of the things that draws older people to that area is they want to see the hospital when they wake up in the morning. I don't know why. Maybe a sense of security. So they can still see the hospital, but they don't have to live in such big accommodation and still be in there where they want to be.
Oh, this is exciting. It's really exciting.
So early planning phases. We hope that it will all happen.
What will your involvement be?
Not sure yet. But I look forward to being part of that project.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow.
I know, it's such a dream, right? And I would never claim credit for it, but I'm just the plucky person who speak up first, you know what I mean? Because other people I always feel that there are lots of people who are much more talented than I am, much more capable than I am, but I do my bit by being the one who is gobby and able to actually ask, not to be shy.
There's absolutely a big skill involved in that, which I think you're underplaying, but it's important.
No, but I have this other thing which probably annoys my other half a lot, in that once I get this thing, I will work really hard into it. And so I can prepare proposals in a very short time. My team always laugh at me. It's like, most people will say, no, there's not enough time, I won't do it. And I was like, nope, I'll do it. I'll never say no. I went on holiday because my sister is still in the UK. She hasn't come back. So sometimes we meet for holidays. So I had a conference in Portugal. Husband came with me, and then sister and brother-in-law flew in to meet us. And then we went to this shop. You know, they have sardines in Portugal. So they went to this shop that says Miss Can. So my sister said, please stand next to that shop and we'll take a picture.
Matches you. That's your motto.
Miss Can, yes.
I love it. I really, really love it. You said that your because of your upbringing, your life, and the things that happened, it contributed towards this resilient mindset. But what about others who, they could be younger people or anyone really who needs to develop a resilient mindset? What can you say to them about this can-do attitude, about developing it? How do they grow it? Sorry, is it?
I don't know, because it's always been an intuitive thing, right? So I'm probably the worst person at teaching leadership, because I don't know how it happened, right? But I have actually been involved in some leadership training through the College of Physicians, because I'm a physician, right? So and I've been working with the College of Physicians to look at how we can actually train leadership amongst doctors. And of course, because I was in the UK for many years, I used my links with the Royal College of Physicians in London, because I'm a member. I'm now a fellow, to actually connect and also look at some cultural exchange, etc. So and we actually have been doing regular leadership training sessions with our physicians in Malaysia. Right. This leadership is not taught overnight. No, it's a continuous journey. Courses is not useful unless it's coupled with being able to practice it in the workplaces. And we are only afforded one day. But in the UK, when it talks about leadership, you're talking about residential courses for the last weeks, right? But this is the beginning. But one of the main issues probably we have about doctor education and tertiary education, or even education in totality in Malaysia, is that is not that much taught about being a leader. Because being a leader doesn't mean being prime minister. Correct. And I have absolutely no aspirations. But the thing is that you are called to be a leader at different times in your life. So even in the family, running a family is about being a leader. The mums are just amazing people who just do this mother dance. That's a term I learned when I went to the University Islamic Antarabangsa, they invited me to actually talk to them about aging.
Okay.
And then they actually, I was so amazed at some very open-minded ladies who actually led this show. And then they taught me this thing called the mother dance.
Mother dance.
Yes, and being a mother actually teaches you a lot about leadership.
Yeah.
Because it's not about always speaking out.
Yeah.
It's not about always fighting the cause.
Yeah.
It's also about scanning the situation. Picking your fights.
Yes.
Negotiation skills. Yes.
Holding your ground.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really helpful, and again, it matches a lot of what we're taught about how leadership isn't just rank. It doesn't depend on a position. It doesn't depend on a title. Rather, it depends on how you respond in a situation that has arisen or the situation you find yourself in. Would there be something that you could say to people, in terms of these situations that they find themselves in? Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm never going to be a leader. I don't need to know. I'm not going to be a leader.
And you have to ask themselves why they've come to that conclusion, isn't it?
Right.
Is it so? Our culture is very punitive.
Yes, the shame culture, right?
Shame culture, and also we lack the pianos on the keyboard. That's all I can say, to play the tune. Usually, a lot of times, people are brought up with only one emotional key, and that key can be fear, hiding away, procrastination. But sometimes that key is anger.
Yes.
And just one key. So they all respond to everything in one way, in the same way. When they're out of their depths, when they're jealous, when they're unhappy, when they're sad, all they can do is be angry. Because they don't know how to express themselves, and that has, I think, almost damaged a lot of generations. So and I think some of our political contexts, or our Asian cultural contexts, will also put that into the picture, because to stay in power, politicians in Asia tend to use a tool called fear. So fear to speak up. You don't actually know what you're afraid of. You're under this impression that, don't flatter yourself, by the way, but if you say something, someone's going to come and catch you and put you in jail. Don't flatter yourself. You're not important enough. Which politician has so many soldiers everywhere to just catch you and put you in jail?
Who's listening? But I remember reading something like this, because I've often wondered what enables us, to, like, why in some places people speak up all the time. Without any fear. They just speak up and they voice an opinion. Doesn't matter
if it's right or wrong.
Correct.
In fact, a lot of times there's no right or wrong.
Correct.
And even if it's not correct, you can always just be polite about the situation. Often it's not shaming that person in public, but pulling themselves aside and trying to verify why they said what they said, rather than straight away tell them they're wrong.
Correct. And it's even that ability to do that without that need to just stamp it out. That's that one key, isn't it? You're just like stamping. You're the stamper.
You're wrong.
Correct. Don't speak up.
Yeah. So I remember how when you fail tests, what happens? You're already very sad when you fail. And what happens?
Told you so.
I know.
You didn't study.
I went to a Chinese school.
Oh no.
I know the things that I had to go through, I tell you. And I guess the upbringing taught me to not straight away react and give up because I was being treated like that, but to channel that energy into figuring out how I can not do it to people in the future. Because we were asked to draw a picture of a pig, honestly. And there was nothing wrong with pigs. Pigs are very cute. But in the Chinese
I'm
understanding,
thinking of Peppa Pig.
I know, right? So we are, but pigs are supposed to be stupid, and pigs are supposed to be lazy. I know, that's so mean, right? Stereotyping the poor animal, which is actually extremely intelligent, very cute, and anyway, nothing wrong with pigs, but in those days we were asked to draw pictures of pigs, on a cardboard, and if we didn't get 80% for a test, 80%, it's not fail, we would hang it on our necks and stand outside the class. Yeah.
This is like the scarlet letter, but worse.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because I went to a very competitive Chinese school.
Wow.
But to understand that that's a bad behavior.
Yeah.
But not to be damaged by it, but to know not to do it to somebody else.
Yes.
So that we can break that cycle.
Yeah.
And then figure out another way of actually inspiring people to achieve to the maximum potential. Yeah, and that's the other thing that happens in Asia, right? It's like the sifu must always be better than the disciples, or whatever you call them. Or the padwans. So they always withhold something when they teach them. Whereas in my books, they ride on our shoulders. So it's okay.
But
and you'll be proud if they turn up, do things. I'm always surprised because these students are so creative, and they do things I'd never imagined.
That's it. The thing that you mentioned about the sifu, the person who's the teacher, I'm wondering whether it goes back to the earlier point you made about confidence.
Yes.
I think back to my boss. My first proper boss was a lawyer. Absolutely adore him. And because he wasn't in any way, shape or form insecure. He was extremely secure in his strengths, in his talents. He did not like going to court, and he would tell me, he would acknowledge it, whereas he saw me as this person who enjoyed speaking and debating and going to court. So he was willing to grow this and not be put off by it, or not to try and just keep me down. And what I see in him, from what I used to see in him and what I still think of him, is that the confidence to be able to do something like that, to acknowledge, this is where I am, this is what I'm good at, my strengths are here, but I can encourage you and I can bring you up and I'm not afraid of you. It's a big thing. So I'm wondering whether this idea of, that sifu not teaching people, whether it goes back to this idea of, confidence, whether people actually lack confidence.
I think so, right? Because, again, very cultural.
Yes.
Because the way that the country, the leaders maintain control is to instill fear, withhold information. Yes. That was in the past, of course, not now. I'm not saying anything about the current government.
I like the current one generally.
In the past, So people are not given the tools to express themselves. So then, the less you said. So I do find that when I first get my students, a lot of them are very good at writing.
Yes.
But they are afraid to speak up.
Yes.
Yeah. So and not all of them end up wanting to speak up properly.
Yes.
Some of them will express themselves through writing.
Yes.
But that's okay. Because not everybody is different. But just encouraging them to actually express themselves in a manner that they see most comfortable with, but to express themselves anyway. To think independently. And to understand that there is really no right or wrong. And different solutions for different situations. It's not all about standing the high ground. Some people wish somebody says, this is correct, you must follow this procedure. Procedures are really interesting. The word procedure I still don't quite understand, because there is the formal procedure and there is the procedure. That is one, but also the respecting the current culture, the current understanding, and putting aside differences. I think that's the most important thing, if anything. Putting aside your differences and actually working towards commonalities. That's how we move forward.
That's really wonderful. So there's been a lot of talk about how difficult it is for young doctors, for people who want to...
It's extremely difficult.
In
fact, my
Can
daughter
you shed
is not
some light?
going to be a doctor after
wow.
she hears all the stories.
Oh
and
no,
everything.
the break in the cycle.
I know. So I don't know how my parents feel and my in-laws feel about it. Sorry, father-in-law.
Aw.
But I think they are very proud of their granddaughter.
I'm sure, yeah.
And son, I don't think he's going to be a doctor either, but he might surprise me. But then it is so tough. And if I don't want to be too negative, but the enslavement, the systematic enslavement of doctors started in 1973, the year I was born.
Wow.
So very significant.
Yeah.
I just let off my age there. But the thing is that the government can decide that to work as a doctor in Malaysia, and you wouldn't, anyone nowadays would tell you that's a very silly policy. You need to come and work for the government for 3 years. You already don't produce enough doctors, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Malaysian doctors speak English. Our schools are good.
Yes.
And people are clever.
Yeah.
So when you come up with a rule like that, and that's not just, it's post-registration, so they already had 1 year initially, now 2 years after they graduate, where they already have to work compulsorily to become registered, and then 3 years addition where you have to serve the government as a medical officer, compulsory service. So unless you do those 5 years under the government, so the thinking was not enough doctors in, so we hold them as slaves in the system. So once you are obliged to do this, then the leaders can put you anywhere.
Oh,
Yes.
so that's where the posting comes
Yes.
in. Okay.
Yeah. So my mum might be very sick.
Yeah.
But in KL, or I might have a husband who has a really big job in KL,
Yeah.
and I have children, but I'm going to post you to that part of Kota Kinabalu.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Kota Kinabalu, but it's just very far from the family.
Yeah.
And there's no democracy in all this.
Yeah.
So there didn't seem to be any ability to look at how we are going to make people stay.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not a Malaysian unique situation. A lot of governments have done this, and what has it done? Push doctors away, and push away good talents, and the response to that was more stick. So systematic enslavement of doctors. So now our doctors are stuck in this situation where they're given a contract after they've done their their pre-registration. By the way, they had to queue for the registration.
Oh wow.
So they have to be unemployed for about a year, before they can start work. So what do they do in that meantime? Yeah, they no longer eligible for student loans. So these are doctors, 5 years of training, perfectly capable of practicing something
With no income.
Yeah, and then they work for 2 years under you, and then you then give them a contract. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with contracts, but there needs to be some transparency
Yeah.
in how you award the post.
Yeah.
So contracts should come with some sort of interviews,
Yeah.
choosing where you want to go
Yeah.
to, not just sending you somewhere with a contract.
Yeah.
Then some people get the permanent posts, but we don't quite know how they got the permanent posts. So there are lots, and it's years and years of decay.
Murky waters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no ability to own up or speak up.
Yeah.
And the people, remember, break the cycle.
Yeah.
The people in it didn't understand the concept of breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
So if I had to do 3 years of compulsory service, it is not fair if he didn't have to do 3 years of compulsory service.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do 3 years of compulsory service. You want specialist training? Bond for another, I don't know how many years. If you want to go out, pay. Yeah. So how about some parents for a change? Yeah.
So it's a little bit oppressive in that sense.
Oh yeah.
And what would you say to people who want to do medicine? And look, I think it's a special calling to want to do something in medicine, because it's not an area that everyone will want to will gravitate towards, because it's difficult. I mean, I wouldn't want to see blood. Something simple like that. But what would you say to the people who want to do medicine, but who are really put off by all these conditions and are now maybe second guessing their choice or their decision?
Yeah, what I just said was quite extreme, isn't it? And everyone says, who wants to be a doctor now? But in reality, there's still good people in the system, right? And to survive in the system, you need to talk to each other, figure out how to get your permanent contract, your permanent position. Speak to leaders to actually find out how to get in the posts that you want to be
Yeah,
in. If you do genuinely have issues,
Yes.
like if you have family that you can't, you have family issues and you have to stay in one place, be open about it. Don't sit there in the corner and tell people, and keep telling people. Because if nobody, sometimes we think that readers can read minds. Readers can read minds. So there are good people in the system. The system looks oppressive, but actually, in actual fact, you just have to work the system.
Right.
Not for your benefit, but to make it possible for you to stay in the system. So and when people see that your intent is genuine, they will go all out to help you stay in the system.
So it sounds like you're saying that they'll need a few skills. They'll need the skill of being able to have a conversation, to ask for things.
Yep.
They probably need to, have the courage to maybe look for a mentor or a sponsor within the system, someone who can...
More than one mentors. Like I mentioned, I had a lot of mentors. And they had so much time for you.
Right.
Yes. So while the whole system lacked the agility or the skill to actually not make things punitive, they actually genuinely have a pure intent to actually fund the healthcare system and actually staff the healthcare system. So you need to understand the intent. It's not punitive because they just want to punish you. They really want to staff the healthcare system. It's just like the whole of Asia, if we want you to have good grades. So that's why we punish you, so that you can have good grades.
It did not work for me.
Well, for some reason it worked for me. I don't know how. But my feeling is that if you were going to get good grades, you're going to get good grades anyway, no matter what. But the healthcare, the educational system just rewards people who are good at a tiny amount, those things. But it doesn't reward people who are good at other things.
Right? I recognize that.
That's right. So, but anyway, so I was one of those fortunate people who actually was a good grades camp, which made me a nerd, right? So funny. So anyway, so this nerd, but understanding where people come from, because while overseas looks so rosy when they package it so nicely, but there are also issues in the system. The oppression happens another way.
Correct.
Yes.
I mean,
and it's more, this one is overt, so you know the monster.
Yes.
The other systems, it's more covert.
A little bit more sophisticated in how it comes about, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So I think that's
So the key is to, I think a lot of times we don't reflect. We might not feel nice. It's because we've not been given the training on how to express ourselves or to reflect on what could make things better. So we just know we are unhappy, so we just act unhappy. Without knowing that actually if we dissect it and figure out what could make things better, and then we ask questions, but in a nice way. And be polite and don't blame individuals. Recognize behavior that are not acceptable. But then you don't hold grudges. No, because people can change. I know people say people will never change. We
can't tell that.
You can't make people change. But people can change. And people who are willing will change.
I'm not in the camp that says a leopard will never change its spots and all that. I actually believe that people can change. I mean, we look at ourselves and we can see areas that we were maybe really poor in before and where we've grown. And that's something that we celebrate. And you can see areas that we still need to grow, and then we can be hopeful of our growth. But it's a constant journey, and so I'm with you on that. I think, totally.
And also the other thing is that sometimes people act a certain way. So we call it empathy, isn't it? So we have to put ourselves in their position, understanding what exposure they've had, what sort of challenges they've had, and that's why they ended up that way. So there's a new phrase that I quite like to brandish around: moral injury.
Explain.
Okay. So basically, in the healthcare setting, So we're supposed to be a caring profession.
Yes.
Right? We are supposed to care for patients, make them feel better.
Yes.
But how can you have a profession that seems to be so nasty towards each other, isn't it? Punishing each other.
Yes.
Because that's literally what the public see.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
And how can those people be trusted to look after patients?
Yes. Yeah.
But how did they become like that? Because there's no healthcare system that is ever going to be perfect. For some reason, through everywhere in the world, the healthcare system provision always lags behind what is needed. So it's one of those things that nobody has quite figured out how to fix. But then the poor person in the middle, who is actually doing all the work, because of the stress, burnout, and they haven't had the opportunity in life to learn the skills to speak up, to do something. They're not given them. So eventually they suffer moral injury. So this was first described in the army, right? In the times of war. So and moral injury, it is often unconscious. They don't intentionally makes them act in a way that hurts other people. So they'll say, "There's no point speaking up. Nothing's ever going to work. Nothing's ever going to change." But on reflection, right? People like me are running around like crazy headless chickens trying to fix the system. And then there are other people who just given up on trying to fix the system, but because they've given up, they're not actually doing anything. So they have the most time to tell our future doctors that the things will never change. So our future doctors are groomed to think that things will never change.
So what I'm actually hearing, and I'm going to use the analogy that you gave, I'm actually hearing two sets of people both playing one key, but they're each playing different keys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
And then you've got the ones in between who are trying to add like some different keys, like maybe empathy as a key, and self-awareness, and like different elements of growing your emotional intelligence. You're trying to add all these different keys to these people. So it's a very interesting situation. And
we'll see, but positive. In that when we're doing this training, year on year, we can see that. And we only train about 30, 40 people at a time because it's very, very... So that's one of those things about this. So if you're a policymaker, you'll see no returns on investment on this one because so many people, so much resources, very labor-intensive training. But that's what it takes. But these people are like the ambassadors. Within 1 year, the next lot that comes back, they're different. They're better. They get some of the stuff already. So how did that happen? I don't quite know. It's kind of subliminally in the system. So just slowly injecting new keys into the system.
I like that. At the beginning, you mentioned something. You said you've got all these different things going on, and you've talked about your experiences, and you also said something about being shaped by your faith. Can you maybe just give like a general idea of how that's played into all these different moving elements in your life?
Well, I guess one of the things that helps is being because we have to reflect. So we reflect. And we actually stop. And go through what situations had happened today, and why did it happen? Why me? and then you get answers. You're like, and then not knowing that earthly material things don't really matter. Because there's always the whatever is whatever happens in now on earth doesn't really mean that much. But what we're after is a much bigger prize. So things that happen allows you to is intended to grow you. So that helps you gives you, I suppose, some people will see as resilience, the ability to say, okay, put that aside and say, okay, I try again. But I will only try if it was meant to be.
That's great. So I ask everybody who comes on my podcast this as the final question.
Yes.
The name of my podcast is Pathways to Thriving, and my question is, what does thriving mean to you, and how do you know that you are actually thriving?
You know, that's one thing I never reflect on, because it's my personality, isn't it? Because it's not about me, right? It's about not about me, how I thrive. Yeah, because I guess it's one of those things, where do I draw my happinesses, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy when the people around me are happy, right?
Okay.
When things are running well.
So that's a definition of thriving in itself, isn't it?
Yeah. So I guess I'm driven by not the fact that I'm thriving, but I've done everything I can to make sure that whatever I'm tasked to do is done to the best of my ability. Right. So but that also calls for self-care. So that's one of the things about geriatrics. We always teach self-care. So if you don't check in on your health every day, you don't make sure you eat the right things, you get the right amount of sleep, and you exercise on a regular basis, then you have less opportunity to contribute.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing all of this. I think it's just been wonderful, and
thanks for the opportunity.
And I hope our viewers, learn from this, enjoy it, like and subscribe. Thank you.